Hello, it's Emma Mills here, and welcome to episode 129 of My TV. And this week is going to be all about how to make decisions quicker, more effective, and actually make the decision. Because let's face it, if you want 2020 to be how I'm sure you've written down in your journals or the goals or whatever it is you want, making decisions has got to be a part of it. I know that when you run a business, it's been nearly 12 years for me, but whether you're on your own, whether you've got a business partner, whether your business is huge, successful with hundreds of staff, whatever situation you're in, it's still quite a lonely place to be. And I know that after speaking to hundreds of business owners, actually the fear of making the decision can stop people and can make procrastination happen because they're almost fearful of making the wrong decision. Number one, before I give you the advice, you need to scrap that. Making this decision is always way more effective, whether it was the wrong decision, is way more effective than doing nothing. So we need to ban procrastination, nothing good comes from it. And what we need to think about is this. So if I've got something that I need to solve, ideas might be, let's say it's a team member who needs that difficult conversation that you don't really want to have because it's a difficult decision. Let's say next month I need to make definitely 10 grand of new sales to pay for, holiday I've booked, or to actually live a better life, or to pay for some stuff in the business that's needed. Around these issues and on the, making the sales, not bit, how am I going to do that? Procrastinating over it, all of a sudden the next month's passed. I will do one simple thing. So whatever the issue is, I'll think about somebody that I admire. So it could be somebody that I'm watching, on YouTube, let's say, the Richard Bransons or the Elon Musk. It could be somebody that actually you just admire on a local level, a friend, a business owner, somebody that mentors you, somebody that ultimately has got shit done, has freedom over their time, has a business that is growing or is at the level that you would love to be at. Somebody basically whose advice you really admire. They have to be an action taker though. And I will often think about, so let's say it's Richard Branson. What would he do in this situation? And it is a really clear, most of the time it's about taking action, but let's say I need to make £10,000 of new sales next month. What would Richard Branson do? Okay, well, he's going to immediately go through all of the different sources of potential business. So whether it's leads that are warm, whether it's generating new leads, whether it's coming up with new ideas, whether it's speaking to your existing customers to get referrals for them, exhausting every single angle of how I'm going to make these 10 grand of sales. If you put yourself in a successful person's mind or shoes, it often makes you think, well, actually, he wouldn't just sit here and moan about it and not do anything. He would take action. Let's say it's a difficult team member who needs that conversation. If I'm thinking about, let's say, Steve Jobs, what would he do? He's not going to let the mission of Apple and everything he wanted to achieve get in the way of just dealing with somebody who is not in the same, mission and goal as him. He would deal with it. He would speak to the person. He would do whatever. Ultimately, what I'm saying is, I often find it a really good framing of the situation to think about somebody I really admire. Okay, what would they actually do in this situation? Because ultimately, it'll make you realize that one, you're taking no action. Two, you're thinking about it for way too long. And third, you just need to actually make a decision and get on with it. The other bit that I'll often layer on top of this is if, for example, in my business, we get a customer complaint, or say we're thinking about a new product, or we want to improve a product. I will think about what would a world-class business do. And it's a similar scenario, but I will think about, okay, actually, what would Apple do in this situation? So let's say a customer complaint comes in. How would actually a world-class business solve this complaint? How would they make sure that the customer left feeling absolutely elated, even though something, that they haven't enjoyed has happened? It's just about, for me, I want my business to be world class. It's going to be like, the market leader, the world market leader in PA support. But I'm never going to get there if I think on a very low scale. If I emulate and think about people that have really been successful, then it helps me to make decisions in the same way. A complaint is not going to get ignored or brushed under the carpet by Apple. They're going to do everything they possibly can to turn that situation around. It was only the other day that I learned that all of the Apple Store staff actually spend 45 minutes every morning rewatching the Apple training videos before they start their shift, and that's every single day. And so I just always think that it's just an easy place when you're on your own, when you have to make a decision, when you have to lead the team or, lead your company in a certain direction. Think about what a successful person that you admire would do, or think about what would a world-class business, how would they handle this? How would they, approach this situation? For me, it has saved me so much time and it jolts me into action rather than the dreaded procrastination. And I hope today's MyTV has helped you to get your head out of the dirt and into the clouds. And I will see you next week for episode 130. See you then. Bye-bye.